Good evening, I'm Matt Woodman. This is CTV News at 6. Tonight, full speed ahead. The Valley Line West LRT enters the final phase of accelerated work.
It's kind of like ripping a Band-Aid off. We can do it quickly and be done with it.
Receipt reversal. The Premier says she was confused about her government's new expense policy and changes will be considered.
That was what the policy was supposed to be. It turned out to be something quite different.
And running off. The famous Running Man disappears from his home along the QE2.
We've had people calling concerned.
We do have a few more scattered showers and maybe some thunderstorms in the forecast for the weekend, but also a warming trend.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Matt Woodman.
The city's final phase of ramped-up construction on the Valley Line West LRT is now underway. It means a major West End intersection will be partially closed for about 9 weeks. The builder says it will be worth it. CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti has the details.
The city is marking the final phase of accelerated work on the Valley Line West LRT. The intersection at Stony Plain Road and 149th Street is now partially closed to traffic. It's expected to last 9 weeks.
I prefer it to be done quicker. It was a pain to have that intersection closed, but it seemed to help move it along.
Further east, Stony Plain Road at 142nd Street is now open after 2 months of partial closures.
It's kind of like ripping a Band-Aid off. We can do it quickly and be done with it, or it can be phased out over a long period of time.
Crews will be working overnight to remove sidewalks and roadways, install streetlights and traffic signals.
The city's allowed us to shut down these major intersections so that we can kind of just work the whole thing through. It gives us a lot more space, and it lets us get the work done a lot quicker.
Last week, the first rail vehicle for the Valley Line West arrived in the city. Tracks are starting to be put in place, marking one step closer to the finish line.
The landscape will go in, the remainder track will go in, the overhead wires will go in, and it'll be very much a real thing, just as it is for the people in Southeast Edmonton that have the LRT already today.
While work is being done, ETS Route 7 will face some detours. One business says the closures are frustrating.
Between patients being not able to make their appointments and even just for us arriving late too, I know that a lot of businesses around here have been suffering.
The city says the construction headache will be worth it in the end.
We're doing what we can every day. We listen to the complaints or the comments from the public, and we try to react as quickly as we can.
It'll have people to be able to come, take transit, walk right off the train, have a cup of coffee, go to a restaurant.
Full construction is expected to be done in 2028, followed by testing before the line opens. Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Premier says she's confused about a new government expense policy. It removes a requirement for herself, ministers, and political staffers to publicly share receipts for expenses of more than $100.
The issue that the cabinet discussed was that there are a number of my ministers who go to the same hotels when they're frequenting different municipalities, and they just wanted the name of the hotel redacted, just in case people were tracking them down and following. That was what the policy was supposed to be. It turned out to be something quite different.
The new policy came into effect on Friday before the August long weekend. Danielle Smith says she will be discussing it with her cabinet on Tuesday to figure out what happened and plan for a reversal. Now, Smith made those comments at the Alberta Next panel in Edmonton last night. The traveling panel, collecting feedback on Alberta's grievances with Ottawa, faced its largest crowd yet. It struggled to keep the crowd on topic as outrage spilled over with interruptions and challenges to the government's agenda. CTV's Merrick DeCash reports.
We, as Albertans, must be able to respectfully debate and discuss these issues here with our friends, with our family, with their neighbours.
Premier Danielle Smith, along with 15 members of her Alberta Next panel, were in Edmonton on Thursday night, fielding questions and concerns from Albertans. It didn't take long for things to get tense.
And my response to the question is actually, in all 6 questions on the agenda tonight, is that Alberta doesn't really want you doing this right now. We don't want this.
Greg Oldring was the second person to come up to the microphone.
We're concerned about health, education, and the poverty that we're seeing, that our neighbors are living under tarps. And here we are talking about transfer payments and things that just don't move the needle for Albertans.
Others showed appreciation for an opportunity to address the Premier face-to-face.
Leaders in our community that are on this panel are here tonight when I think a lot of people would rather be on the golf course or on their deck having dinner, and they're here.
Some speakers took the opportunity to call out the Premier.
So, Danielle Smith, do you agree that Alberta should remain in Canada? And will you sign this petition?
Smith responded by calling out the federal government.
So they should have the same respect for our jurisdiction as we do for theirs, is what I would say. So yes, I do believe in a united Canada and an Alberta sovereign within it.
6 topics were discussed, including abandoning the CPP for an Alberta pension plan, a provincial police force to replace the RCMP, and immigration. Protesters were stationed outside the event.
This is a propaganda tour, and actually it's a pre-election campaign for Danielle Smith, and it's a waste of money.
The Alberta Next panel will hold 2 more town halls at the end of August, one in Lloydminster and the other in Fort McMurray. Merrick Takash, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Confederacy of Treaty 6 First Nations is applying for intervenor status in an upcoming judicial review. Yesterday, a judge ruled a referendum question on Alberta separation must have its constitutionality scrutinized. The ruling means the separatist group, Alberta Prosperity Project, cannot collect signatures to get its question on a ballot until after the review. In a statement, the Confederacy says, quote, "We will continue our unchanging opposition to separatist rhetoric and the idea that Alberta should consider separating from Canada," adding the push for separation is a direct violation of treaty, which are legally binding contracts. Chiefs with Treaty 8 met with Premier Smith and some of her cabinet in Slave Lake today. Grand Chief Trevor McCready was asked about his Treaty 6 peers' decision to intervene in the review.
We commend them for that. We are looking at other areas as well, whether we legally challenge it or not. The problem with these bills, a lot of times, they haven't impacted our rights yet.
The chief says his group discussed many topics with the Premier and ministers, like the importance of partnering with First Nations at the beginning of major energy projects. He's also pressing the government to give First Nations more agency in areas like healthcare, children and family services, and environmental stewardship. Alberta's Indigenous Relations Minister says the meeting was an important step, and the province will keep working with First Nations to turn dialogue into action. Hospital workers are showing high school students what it takes to do their job. Grade 9 to 12 students spent the day at the Royal Alexandra Hospital working directly with Alberta Health Services employees. They learned about the different types of careers within healthcare, from the front lines to IT roles and corporate positions. About 60 students stopped by the Royal Alex Medical Device Processing Department, where all surgical tools are sterilized.
We really love getting the opportunity to share and brag about the work that we do here.
We usually see everything with like the nurses and the doctors, but it's nice to see all the people working behind those people, and the hospital wouldn't work without them, so I guess it's a pretty cool experience.
The event aims to give students the opportunity to see firsthand the wide range of jobs available in the healthcare system. Well, a little rain isn't dampening the spirits at the Edmonton International Fringe Festival. It's the first day of performances and the first day of a Fringe just for kids. CTV's Nav Sanga joins us now from Old Strathcona this evening. So Nav, it's been raining all day out there, but the kids still showing up, I understand.
You bet they did, Matt. The gray skies, wind, and rain didn't stop all the kids from enjoying all the activities and performances at this year's Kids Fringe. Edmonton's International Fringe Festival welcomed some of its youngest audience members this morning.
And we have a ton of kids here already. We just finished cutting the ribbon and officially opening the whole festival, so we're very excited.
The festival is full of activities for kids, like making crafts, playing games, and just plain fooling around.
What do you like to do when you come here?
Yeah, what's your favorite part?
The ball pit, doing yoga.
Ball pit.
The ball pit.
And I'm also excited to turn in this and get a free popsicle.
There's also opportunities to learn new things. These kids are getting their first yoga lesson. These little ones learning some Indigenous hoop dancing moves.
It's amazing. It's so interactive, and this is the best part of being a parent.
But of course, the main attraction are the live performances, and there will be many throughout the next 10 days.
I hope that they can maybe see themselves on stage, maybe see like the next generation of our fringers here at the festival who are going to keep coming back and maybe do a show themselves one day here at Fringe.
The last time when that man was juggling plates, I was a little scared.
It's a great time for the kids and also fun for the parents.
I don't want to say I called in sick, but I called in sick today.
It's a great festival. It's amazing that it's been going on for so many years, and hopefully it continues.
How does it feel to be here and spend some time with your mom, having fun?
Good.
Last year, the festival had more than 13,000 people attend, and organizers expect more people this year. The festival ends at 5:30 p.m. every day. It is free, and it is funded by monthly donors. Matt?
All right, Nav, before I let you go, I want to acknowledge today is Nav Sanga's last day with us here at CTV Edmonton. He's moving on to future endeavors, stepping outside of media. Nav, we just want to thank you for all your years of hard work here. We're certainly going to miss you in the CTV Edmonton newsroom, and we wish you the very best of luck with whatever comes next. So, Nav Sanga reporting live one last time at CTV Edmonton. Well, Josh, we're certainly going to miss Nav. I can't say the same for the wet weather we've been having. I like that you didn't give him a chance to
follow up on that. That was good.
No follow-up questions.
All right, you're out of here. The rain is out of here, which was nice for Nav on his last hit to not be standing out there getting soaked. It did rain starting around lunchtime right through to about half an hour or so ago, and then it started to move off to the east of the Edmonton region. Temperatures have been on the cool side today. It's 12 degrees right now in downtown Edmonton, 13 south of the city. We got to 13 for a daytime high in Edmonton today, 10 degrees cooler than average. As far as rainfall, it looks like about 2 millimeters of rain reported downtown and about 6 at the international airport. So wasn't a huge downpour, but some light rain through the afternoon. There are still a few pockets of showers just off to the west and southwest of the city, but I really don't think that's going to amount to anything as it rolls towards the Edmonton area this evening. So now that the rain is off to the east, should be just cloudy and cool for the rest of tonight. East Central Alberta, you'll continue to see some showers right through into the late evening hours. All of that precipitation back on the BC side, well, it holds off until after midnight, but somewhere in the overnight period, there might be a brief little shower that goes through. Then cloudy and 9 degrees tomorrow morning, another chilly start to the day. Back into the low 20s, though, in the afternoon. Some sunny breaks, high of 21, and a chance of some thunderstorms around supper time tomorrow. Maybe even some severe thunderstorms in the area. I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a few minutes.
All right, Josh, thank you. Coming up next on CTV News, stepping down.
He will definitely be going back up, for sure.
What happened to the running man on a treadmill alongside the QE2? Also just ahead.
We're really looking to see how we can give back to the community.
Kicking it for the kids, how the Ook soccer team is helping more young athletes join the sport.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Peter Cash and Jenna Winterburn from 104.9 Virgin Radio, and we need your help to send some kids back to school with some fresh new kicks.
That is right. Join us right here at Kingsway Mall on Saturday, August 16th, as we collect new shoes in support of Cara Family Resources Center's Kicks for Kids campaign.
Now, we're going to be here from noon to 4. Drop off a new unused pair of shoes and help us walk towards a brighter future, one step at a time.
You buy Southview Acura. For family-owned, award-winning excellence, Southview Acura, where luxury meets reality.
Almost every day for 3 decades, drivers on the QE2 have watched an iconic runner outside the Flamin building. That familiar face recently disappeared. CTV's Amanda Anderson explains why.
Something is missing from this stretch of the QE2 in Nisku, the perch outside Flamin Sales, Rentals and Fitness, where you'll usually see a man running on a treadmill, is now empty.
We've had people call him concerned.
Nearly 3 365 days a year for 30 years, he has run alongside traffic here. The Running Man was created by the company's founder, Frank Flaman.
Frank's reason for coming up with the Flaman Man was to advertise not only did Flaman have agriculture equipment and rentals and sales of trailers, but that we also had a fitness side to Flaman as well.
He's usually dressed in Oilers or Elks gear, but also has a Santa suit, bunny costume, and a pink outfit in support of breast cancer awareness.
And he's a really important part of the Flaman team too. People notice when he's not up, if he's down either for repairs or change of clothes.
Running outside in all kinds of weather every day can take a toll. Even on a machine.
Well, he runs on a series of mechanical linkages. This is a 90-degree gearbox that works his legs and at the same time works his arm to keep him running 24/7 the way he loves to do.
He has had his share of injuries over the years, including broken arms and a hip.
That'll be the problem.
And what is that?
This is his motor. This is the heart of the Running Man.
When things go wrong, it's Travis Johnson to the rescue.
I am the Flaman Man's doctor. I get to fix him anytime he goes down. Well, usually when he breaks an arm, I can have a part overnight, but something like this has to come directly from the manufacturer.
It may be another week before Running Man's new heart arrives, but the company has a promise.
He will definitely be going back up.
Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Nisku.
The Edmonton Stingers season is over after a battle of Alberta on the hardwood went down to the wire.
Trying to close it out against their arch rivals in the Battle of Alberta. Here's a chance, Jameer Nelson Jr. And they're going to Vancouver.
The Stingers were facing the Calgary Surge last night in a do-or-die playoff game. Edmonton had the lead going into the break, but Calgary seized momentum in the third quarter and went on to win 103-95. The Surge will now get ready to take on the Vancouver Bandits tomorrow in the West semifinal. The Nate women's soccer team is hosting a tournament this weekend to collect donations for kids in need. The Ooks exhibition series will feature high-level teams from colleges and universities across Alberta and British Columbia. People are asked to donate soccer shoes and equipment or cash for Sports Central. The organization helps kids access the equipment and gear they need to play.
We're really looking to see how we can give back to the community. It's very important for us as a varsity program at NATE to be able to recognize that we can be a part of something bigger than just the sport that we play.
The tournament runs tonight through Sunday at Millennium Place in Sherwood Park. The normally raucous home of the Edmonton Oilers is undergoing a funky transformation for tomorrow night. The ice may be out, but skates will still be worn when Rogers Place turns into the city's largest roller disco. The first of its kind event will feature upbeat music, lighting effects, and of course, a giant disco ball scoreboard. Organizers say they're looking forward to offering a different kind of experience at Rogers Place.
We're really trying to grow that and provide different events for things to come into the arena throughout the year and for different groups of people that maybe don't usually get the opportunity or haven't had the opportunity to come in, and just really trying to diversify our programming inside and outside the arena.
The Saturday Night Fever Fun kicks off with a family skate from 3 until 5. The over 18 Boogie Down runs from 6 until 8. Tickets are available online. When we return, a behind the farm look.
They can be this close to the cattle. They can hold baby chicks that just hatched a couple of days ago.
How you can experience what life is like on an Alberta farm this weekend.
Going to be another chilly start to the day tomorrow as temperatures drop into the 9-degree range tomorrow morning, but we should get back into the 20s Saturday, Sunday, and all of next week. Your forecast is next.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law. Programming brought to you by Century Casino, 3 great locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Farmers and ranchers across Alberta are inviting you to open farm days. This weekend is all about learning what it takes to get food from the farm to your table. CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti has more.
The Wasilic family and their farm animals are getting ready to showcase what makes the Chatsworth farm so special.
We have chickens, ducks, geese, turkeys, so you get a very good view of a mixed farm, especially the way farming used to be.
The second-generation family farm is one of many across the province, welcoming visitors over the weekend. They've spent countless hours preparing.
Getting all the items in place, moving all the pens around, setting up all the signage, moving bales around, making the yard, giving it that final polish.
In 2020, the Chatsworth farm offered virtual tours of their property. People were hooked and wanted more. The province says agritourism is growing in popularity. With open farm days, people can experience it up close.
Not a lot of people are connected with farms or where their food comes from, so this really gives people the chance to experience it. They can be this close to the cattle, they can hold baby chicks that just hatched a couple of days ago.
Johanna Wasilic grew up in New York City. She traded her office job for a more quiet life on the farm 15 minutes north of Vermilion.
I completely understand everyone who comes out here, and especially for the first time, and says, I have no idea of the work that's involved.
Now she's on the other side, educating people on Alberta agriculture.
For us, it's really about making the whole event one big circle in terms of the cycle of how our farm works.
And enjoy the perks of being on a farm. From cows to geese, chicks, and muddy pigs.
There's Aggie, that one's, you've got to watch out for her when you're giving her food and water because she gets a bit snappy.
Activities get underway Saturday at 11 a.m. and there's something for all ages. Near Vermilion, Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News.
I'm sure Miriam wanted to do that story just so she could go for a ride on that little animal tractor train at the end there.
Nexus of the whole thing.
She's like, did you hear? I got to ride the train. Looked like she had some all right weather out there, a little gray skies, but not too wet.
For much of this morning, it was just cloudy, and then the rain kind of rolled in slowly from the south. Stuck around through most of the afternoon, but it's gone now. Cloudy skies out there as you look through the River Valley Skycam. Action furnace, fixed right or it's free. 12 degrees right now after 13 for a daytime high. One of the coolest days we've had in a long time. 17 in Fort McMurray and Cold Lake for daytime highs. It was 14 in Lloydminster. 19 and 22 off to the northwest. So the timing of the rain and when it rolled in was just perfect to cap temperatures in the low teens. You see, we did get some rain in some of those harder hit drought-stricken areas north of the city. Certainly not enough to put an end to it, but at least a little bit of rain there. We've got some rain coming down right now, a little steadier from Lloydminster back off to the northwest, and a couple of scattered showers there west of the Edmonton region. But for the most part, for the next 4 or 5 hours, it's just going to be cloudy skies in Edmonton. All of this stuff doesn't come through until overnight tonight. So here's 10 p.m. Still just cloudy skies in Edmonton. After midnight into the early morning hours, you get a chance of some scattered showers. And then by tomorrow morning, this is 8 a.m., from Cold Lake back northwest towards Peace River, that's where more of the organized rainfall will be. So it should be north of Edmonton by tomorrow morning. And like this morning, it'll be cool and cloudy out there. We'll, again, start the day in about the 9-degree range. A couple of sunny breaks in the afternoon. But with the humidity that we'll have and a little bit of warming, there is the chance that we could see some thunderstorms here around Edmonton and just off to the northwest. Potential for some severe thunderstorms, so pay close to if you have outdoor plans for tomorrow, especially around supper time, 5 to 8 p.m. Pay close attention to any severe weather alerts that get issued for the Edmonton region. This should all pretty quickly move off to areas northeast. So by the time you get to 9, 10, 11 p.m., it's off into the Cold Lake region. But those areas as well could see some severe thunderstorms just later on in the evening hours. Sunday, partly cloudy skies. Again, slight chance of a scattered shower or thunderstorm in the forecast for Edmonton. The better chance is going to be north of the city, though. So overnight tonight, slight chance. Best chance might actually be right around supper time tomorrow for us to see a shower or thunderstorm. 17 in Fort McMurray, 18 in Grand Prairie, and 18 in Red Deer right now. We're at 12 degrees here in Edmonton with a bit of a breeze. Wind out of the east, about 15 gusting to 30, and that'll be the case for the next few hours. About 15, maybe at times 20 kilometers per hour, and occasionally some gusts on top of that. And then after about 9 p.m., the gusts die down, and the wind should be pretty much a non-factor through the day tomorrow. There's that slight chance of a shower overnight. 9 degrees and cloudy tomorrow morning, and then 21 with some sunny breaks tomorrow afternoon and that chance of a scattered late-day thunderstorm. The Mighty Millions Lottery VIP prize deadline is midnight tonight. Get your tickets by then to be in to win the BMW convertible or $100,000 cash. Go to mightymillionslottery.com. Low 20s tomorrow and then mid-20s, Matt, for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of next week, and more low to mid-20s right through the end of next week.
All right, Josh, thank you. Still to come tonight on CTV News, a high-stakes meeting.
Putin wants to show his countrymen, Russians, that he's actually not a pariah.
A look at what was discussed during a meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and his Russian counterpart. Also just ahead, Trump making more trade threats that could affect tens of thousands of jobs in Canada.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
While no ceasefire agreement was reached, U.S. President Donald Trump says a meeting with his Russian counterpart in Alaska was extremely productive. Trump and Vladimir Putin held a joint news conference following a summit to discuss ending the war in Ukraine.
Many points were agreed to. There are just a very few that are left. Some are not that significant. One is probably the most significant. But we have a very good chance of getting there. We didn't get there, but we have a very good chance of getting there.
Putin said while he is interested in ending the war, Russia's concerns must be taken into account. He also suggested Trump could come to Moscow for their next meeting. Ahead of the meeting, Trump rolled out the red carpet as the Russian president set foot on American soil for the first time in a decade. ABC's Christian Cordero has more.
It's a sight never before seen in history. President Trump rolling out the red carpet today in Anchorage, Alaska, greeting Vladimir Putin as the two walk side by side F-22 fighter jets on the runway. Flying above, a reminder, if Putin needed one, of American military might. The U.S. yesterday flew in B-2 bombers to Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson. The two world leaders are trying to find a path to peace in Ukraine. Trump is sharing cautious optimism that today's meeting will be a crucial step.
I want to see a ceasefire rapidly. I don't know if it's going to be today, but I'm not going to be happy if it's not today.
The two presidents' first meeting 3-on-3, Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff joining President Trump. Trump previously gave the meeting a 25% chance of ending in failure, but some experts believe Putin is ready to make a deal.
He really wants this meeting. He has been ostracized. You know, he's a pariah. Putin wants to show his countrymen, he wants to show Russians, that he's actually not a pariah. That he can meet with President Trump.
In recent weeks, Russia has escalated its attacks. July was the deadliest month for Ukrainian civilians since May 2022. And overnight, Ukraine's Air Force says Russia launched new missile and drone strikes hitting 13 locations. Ukrainian President Zelensky, blocked by Putin from attending the summit, said we are counting on America. He's calling today's strikes a sign Putin is not prepared to end the war. He wants a ceasefire and security guarantees that would protect Ukraine from further Russian aggression.
They're not going to want to just allow Putin to stop the fighting, gain some advantage, build up his forces again, and then start all over.
Trump has categorized today's meeting as one of two, saying if it goes well, he may even stay here in Alaska and invite Zelensky to the table. Christian Cordero, ABC News, Anchorage, Alaska.
And on his way to Alaska, Donald Trump dropped another trade threat. This time, he's targeting the semiconductor sector, which supports more than 120,000 jobs in Canada. CTV's Rachel Aiello has more on what this could mean for our country.
Donald Trump says he's about to send tariffs on semiconductors climbing. Aboard Air Force One, the U.S. president said that either next week or the week after, he'll be taking new trade action against the microchips that help power virtually all electronic devices.
We're going to have a rate that is going to be lower at the beginning. Then that gives them a chance to come in and build, and very high after a certain period of time. And if they don't build here, they have to pay a very high tariff, which doesn't work, so they'll come and build.
Today, the Canadian sector, which does big business south of the border, said Trump's threat could have big implications, not only for consumers, but the country as a whole.
Semiconductors underpin the entire innovation economy. And if you're not able to access semiconductors, you're not actually able to be sovereign in the ways that we mean it in the 21st century.
With another sector now bracing for Trump's impact, new polling indicates anxiety over the state of Canada-U.S. relations is skyrocketing. Nanos' latest numbers show that in the last month, Trump and the state of trade talks overtook the economy and jobs as the top national issue of concern.
Knowing that as time goes by and as Canadian jobs are at risk because of this trade uncertainty, that there will be increasing pressure for the government, not just to get some sort of deal and to bring stability to the relationship, but to also help industries that are currently suffering as a result of Donald Trump.
Nick Nanos said that while the Liberals still have a sizable advantage over the other parties in the polls, succeeding or failing on the Trump file is shaping up to be the first defining test for Prime Minister Mark Carney. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Air Canada is winding down its operations as 10,000 flight attendants gear up to go on strike. Nearly 300 flights have been canceled, affecting more than 55,000 people today. The federal government wants both sides to work with federal mediators. Here's CTV's Camille Carmali.
Behind these doors, the war room for flight attendants who say they're waiting for Air Canada to meet them at the table.
Any progress in talks?
None at all. It's been crickets.
Almost no progress made throughout the day today on a new agreement between the airline and the union representing more than 10,000 flight attendants. With little runway remaining before workers walk off the job, Air Canada told the federal government that it wants to go through binding arbitration that would bring in a neutral third party into the negotiations. The union responded today saying Air Canada's request for ministerial intervention under Section 107 should be firmly rejected.
We don't think that a third party should be coming in to save the day once again for Air Canada, swoop in and not let them negotiate.
Both sides are battling it out over wages. Air Canada has said it's offering a 38% increase in total compensation that includes wages, benefits, and pension over 4 years. But the union says when you look at just the wages, that amounts to just over 17% over 4 years. The airline says that's a fair amount.
This will make them the best paid in Canada. And that's important because they are the best flight attendants in Canada.
Flight attendants also fighting to get compensated for unpaid work that happens before takeoff and after landing. Air Canada has offered to pay 50% for that work while planes are on the ground. The union wants 100%.
What we're offering with regards to ground pay will be the best in Canada. So, we're working to, recognize the contributions of the flight attendants.
Jobs Minister Patty Hajdu's office now urging both sides to work with federal mediators to get a deal done, something that seems far from happening at this time. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Meetings between Canada Post and the union representing its workers have been postponed due to the Air Canada situation. Federal mediators involved in Canada Post talks are unable to assist those parties because of their current involvement in the Air Canada negotiations. Workers rejected Canada Post's latest proposal, which would have included a wage increase of 13% over 4 years and restructuring to add part-time workers. Negotiations for a new collective agreement have been going on for more than a year and a half. A BC First Nation says dozens of unmarked graves have been found on the site of a former residential school.
Today we announce an additional 41 unmarked graves found, bringing our total to 81.
The Shishel First Nation says a team has been scanning the area around St. Augustine's residential school site for the last 18 months with ground-penetrating radar. It's consulting with its elders, community members, and the 53 First Nations affected about what to do next. An out-of-control wildfire on the northwest coast of Newfoundland has destroyed some homes and an elementary school. The fire that destroyed the buildings along Conception Bay is the largest of 4 out-of-control wildfires in the province. province. Elsewhere, an evacuation order for parts of a St. John's suburb has ended. People can return home, but must remain on alert in case they need to leave again. Alberta firefighters are heading to New Brunswick to help fight wildfires in that province. There are 23 active wildfires there. 6 in New Brunswick are out of control. The first hurricane of the season is blowing towards Puerto Rico. Hurricane Erin strengthened into a Category 1 storm this morning, about 700 kilometers east of the Leeward Islands in the Northern Caribbean. The storm is expected to gain strength through the weekend as it barrels towards the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. It could become a Category 4 storm by late Sunday or Monday. A man in Washington is facing felony assault charges. He's accused of throwing a sandwich at a federal officer.
In retrospect, he's going to say, hey, why did I do that? But at the time, mentally, he's like, hey, this is my city. Don't want you here.
Video shows a man yelling at an agent before throwing a sub directly at him. U.S. President Donald Trump has ordered federal officers and the National Guard to patrol the American Capitol. If convicted, the accused could face up to 8 years in prison. Coming up next on CTV News, robot relief.
This is definitely the first of its kind for kidney stones.
How Canadian researchers are using tiny robots to make kidney stones less painful. Here's a look at today's markets. The Canadian dollar unchanged, still trading for 72 cents against the American dollar. Oil, though, lost more than $1, ending the day at $61.98. Gold dropped by 60 cents. The TSX ended the day 10 points lower, while the Dow Jones was up 34 points. China has filed a complaint against Canada and the World Trade Organization. Last month, Ottawa placed an additional 25% tariff on steel imports containing steel melted and poured in China. Today, Beijing called that discriminatory, saying it disregarded World Trade Organization rules. China is urging Canada to take urgent action. Beijing has new temporary duties on Canadian canola and other imports. Prime Minister Mark Carney will visit Mexico next month to meet with the country's president. Bloomberg News reports the meeting will take place September 18th. The two leaders are expected to talk about strengthening trade and supply chains between the two countries, as well as key infrastructure and American tariffs. Carney and Claudia Sheinbaum spoke in Kananaskis in June when Carney invited her as a special guest to the G7 summit. Brazil is considering resuming free trade negotiations between Canada and South America's bloc group, which includes Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, and Paraguay, as well as Bolivia. Brazil's Foreign Trade Secretary says Canada's international trade minister will visit the country later this month. Senior diplomatic sources say trade negotiations could begin next month, and a deal could take a year to finalize. Canada's trade with Brazil alone reached more than $9 billion last year. Talks have been stalled since 2021 as South American countries focused on local issues like elections. Canadian researchers believe they found a new way to deal with kidney stones. As CTV's Spencer Turcott explains, wireless microbots may soon be a game-changing solution for an often painful problem.
They're pretty big.
These are real kidney stones that were either passed or removed from a patient. And you can imagine, however they got out, it didn't feel great.
A lot of the therapies involve oral medication. So people go on oral medication, have to take pills maybe a couple times a day for several months.
That's not always effective or efficient. Surgery is another route.
So when it gets really acute and the stones are, for example, blocking the ureter, then the surgeons will have to go in and remove those stones.
A lot of times, once people get kidney stones, they're more susceptible to getting them again. So this team of University of Waterloo researchers were approached by a urologist in Barcelona hoping to get patients relief in a less invasive way.
He said, hey, you guys are doing these wireless microbots. Is there maybe a way that you could locally trigger the dissolution of stones by bringing medication or bringing a reaction close to the stones in the urinary tract, causing the dissolution, and then thereby avoiding long time medication or even surgery.
An obscure request, right? Not really. The answer from the UW researchers was yes, there is a way.
We set up a rotating magnetic field using a permanent magnet, which is attached to a DC motor. We control the position of the magnet using a robot arm. When I move it will move with it.
The microbots are made up of thin spaghetti-like strips fitted with magnets, which are moved into place near uric acid kidney stones with the robotic arm. The soft strips contain an enzyme called urease, and once in place, it reduces the acidity of the surrounding urine, which then dissolves the stones until they are small enough to pass naturally in a few days.
So this is definitely the first of its kind for kidney stones.
The medical breakthrough is extra special for Erin, who was a master's student when she worked on the project because she suffers from kidney stones.
And the first time that I saw the robots move was one of the best days of my life, I would say.
The technology is still in the testing phase and needs more work before moving on to human clinical trials. Still, no small feat for a very small robot. Spencer Turcotte, CTV News, Waterloo.
When we return, a helping hand for a feathered friend.
It is the easiest thing in the world to do. Just flip a switch and it's going to make a huge difference.
Why an Alberta organization is encouraging you to keep your lights off during bird migration season.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV, starting at 7 with E-Talk.
A group of Canadian cyclists are riding across 10 provinces and 3 coasts to raise awareness of Parkinson's.
And then my first day, a couple stopped us, asked us a question. They started to walk away, and the guy came back. It turned out his father had Parkinson's. He opened up, the floodgates kind of opened, and I realized that that's what the ride's about. It's about the people we meet.
The Spinning Wheels Tour left Victoria nearly 2 weeks ago. 12 cyclists rode through Alberta this week. Riders will now travel to Churchill, Manitoba. Their goal is to raise $200,000 for Parkinson's research and community support. The incurable neurological disease affects about 110,000 Canadians. The fall migration period for birds is underway, which means millions of species will be flying through Alberta over the next few months. The pass-through can be a dangerous time for birds, so conservationists are asking Albertans to make a small change to help them out. CTV's Tim Brooke explains.
To most humans, it's a beautifully lit cityscape worth taking a photo of. But other species look at it a little differently.
Birds get distracted. Ooh, shiny, and they turn their way into the city. And once the birds are in the city, a number of things can happen.
The fall migratory season for birds has kicked off, and our lights can lead to a dangerous turn.
They might see those interior lights and think it looks like a nice open forest, and they see the surrounding windows and think that's the trees they need to avoid, so they might fly directly into that light.
More than 16 million birds die from window strikes every year in Canada, and this year has already been more deadly than usual, largely thanks to a change in weather patterns causing an early migration.
Between August 9th and 13th last year, we had 11 birds, and the same time period this year, we've had 38. So even if you look at that small window of time, it's much, much higher than last year.
So a simple request. Conservationists want Calgarians to switch off their lights each night from 11 o'clock to 6 a.m. That will help birds differentiate between pass-throughs and obstacles.
It is the easiest thing in the world to do. Just flip a switch and it's going to make a huge difference.
There are also simple daytime changes that could protect migrating species.
So now is a really critical time to people to mark their windows to prevent them from being death sentences for the birds migrating. But the markings have to be close together, 2 inches apart, like we have on the window here.
Tim Brooke, CTV News, Calgary.
Cloudy skies through the rest of this evening. There's a chance of a scattered shower after midnight. And then tomorrow, cloudy with a few sunny breaks. It'll be cool in the morning. Should get to about 20 or 21, though, in the afternoon. And then around supper time, chance of some hit-and-miss showers and thunderstorms in the area. Mid-20s after that for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So 23's average. We'll be back to around average. There's no real heat in the forecast, but at least back into the low to mid-20s here for most of the next week and a half.
I hope that
summer's not over.
I was going to say, I hope that 10 days stays true. I'm just aching for a weekend of just sunshine and warm.
Listen, we had 5 30-degree days in September last year, so summer is far from over.
I like the sounds of that. All right, Josh, thanks very much, and thank you for watching tonight. For news anytime, visit our website. Have a great weekend.